Deporto, man. Ay, ay, ay. Woo! Let's go. Happy Monday to the Ungovernables, the captain's crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation. Coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on this wonderful Cinco Deporto. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy to have you all here. I already saw somebody in the chat saying Ungoverned has become my favorite podcast. We appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's going to be a beautiful week as Cinco Deporto is underway. Eli did an amazing job with the thumbnail. If you guys are on the LFA, rumble.com/LFA TV, obviously that's where you're hopefully watching us from, or if you're watching over on X or anywhere else, we greatly appreciate that. Take a look at the thumbnail Eli put together, rumble.com/LFA TV up there in the featured slot. Thank you to Bald Brad. Gracias, mi hermano. We're going to try and speak as much of the niche as we can today. Look, guys, I just put a video up. I've been looking forward to Cinco Deporto for quite some time, and hopefully did not disappoint. I'm going to play the Deporto video for you right now. If you would like to hear a message from our favorite president, es tu presidente favorito, right? If you want to hear a message from your favorite president, let us know in the chat where you are watching from. How about that? Let us know in the chat where you're watching from, and then you can we will see a message from your favorite president celebrating Cinco Deporto. So I see a bunch of people saying hi already. Hola, familcita. Gina breaking out the bilingual. Let's see. She's one of the good hombres. South Carolina is in the house. CQ says great accent. Thank you, thank you. Illinois is in the house. Chicago is in the house. Deporto Pronto. Yes, Springfield, Missouri is in the house. San Diego is in the house. Montana in the house. Oregon is in the house. Wisconsin, North Carolina, Maryland, Minnesota, Indiana, Florida, Minnesota again. Eli's wife, Liz, says her allergies are kicking her arse. Same here. West Virginia, Chicago, Idaho, Wisconsin. Hey, guys, did you see J.B. Pritzker yesterday? Obese One Kenobi celebrating Star Wars Day. Oh, and by the way, folks, it is still, even though it's Cinco Deporto, I signed an executive order last year that said that Star Wars Day now lasts 3 days. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I get Eli will be on board for this. Yesterday was May the 4th be with you, so May the 4th be with you. Today is Return of the 5th, right? Or Cinco Deporto. Tomorrow is Revenge of the 6th, and then Star Wars Day can finally be over. Although it's never over in this house. You know, we always have right? All right. Happy Cinco Deporto. Do you guys want to hear a message from your favorite president? Do you want to hear a message from your favorite president? How about we do this? I will play a Cinco Deporto exclusive message from your favorite president when we hit 450 likes. We are 53 away over on Rumble, rumble.com/LFA TV. 53 away. When we hit 450, you will get a Cinco Deporto message from your favorite president. Look at everybody here in this chat, huh? Look at everybody here in this chat having a good time, saying nice things, usually, hopefully. We're going to have a good day. Donald Trump went on the Sunday shows and absolutely laid waste to Kristen Welker yesterday, over the weekend, right? That's going to be part of the show, the first part of the show, where he absolutely just smacked around the hack known as Kristen Welker. We do have Cinco Deporto themed stories today. Obviously, a bunch of illegals have been arrested over the past couple of days. An attack committed by MS-13. An update on the illegal who robbed Kristi Noem. You know that illegal robbed Kristi Noem in Washington, D.C.? Remember that guy? Yeah, he took her purse, right? Mm-hmm. He took her purse, which is worth way too much money for a purse, but you know the way I feel about that. Donald Trump does want to reopen The Rock. Welcome to The Rock. Losers try their best. Winners go home and the prom queen. We have Donald Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz. I find that to be hysterical and awesome at the same time. The left freaked out over, and some people on the right, and I understand, you don't want to see like your faith mocked. I don't think that's what Donald Trump was doing with the Pope meme. And we made a funny video about that, too. On day one, we will clean up the Vatican, right? On day one, we will clean up the Vatican. And we will clean up the waste, specifically the waste left by Crooked Joe. Operation Tootsie Roll. It was terrible. And Donald Trump giving us an update on his 2028 talk. Where are we on the count there? We are at 444. If we can get 6 more, you get a message from your favorite president here on Cinco Deporto. How are we doing? We're 6 away. We are 6 away. I'm sure on the other side of this break, we're going to hit the thumbs up button, of course, for our good friends over at OFP Farms. OFP Farms, if you're watching over on X, by the way, I need you guys to hit the repost button if you want a message from your favorite president as well. Let's get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. It's Oscar Foxtrot Papa Farms, the best goat milk product on the market. Take a look. OFP Farms Mother's Day sale is underway until Mother's Day, folks. You're cutting it close now. Mother's Day is right around the corner. May 11th, OFP Farms has done it again. They've got their amazing luxury gift boxes for moms. Remember, I like to peek out, right? This is like the whole thing. It's up. I see you. Mother's Day gift boxes. If you want to know what's inside, I'll show you what's inside after Mother's Day. But if you want to know what's inside before Mother's Day, you got to order one for your mom, maybe your mother-in-law, whoever it may be, here on Mother's Day. May 11th is right around the corner. The beautiful gift boxes are flying off the shelves. Corey and Denise, they're the best. They are the greatest people. We love them. They're fantastic people, right? Incredible people. And we would love to support them, continue to support them with tons and tons of sales. Go to OFPFarms.com, Oscar Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com. Check out their treasure trove of goat milk, tallow, and all-natural goodies. You can get 20% off, as you saw in that video, 20% off at OFPFarms.com if you use the promo code Shawn, SHAWN. It's right there on your screen. Folks, one of the best ways to support this show, head over to OFPFarms.com, use the promo code Shawn, and you get 20% off. I love knowing that we're taking care of our sponsors, especially sponsors like Denise and Corey over at OFP Farms. They are amazing. They've been really good to us. They've been really great, I know, to all of you, the LFA family. So OFPFarms.com, promo code Shawn, OFPFarms.com, promo code Shawn. Okay, folks, here we go. Who is ready? Did we hit it, Brennan? Are we there? Yeah, we're at 479. Who is ready for a message from your favorite president on Cinco Deporto? Are you ready? Here we go. Donald Trump, early this morning released a Cinco Deporto message. Take a look.
My fellow Americans, tu presidente favorito, and I wanted to wish you a very happy Cinco Deporto. Cinco Deporto is a tremendous day. To all of the illegals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers, and all around bad hombres. Te vamos a sacar de nuestro país, or as I call it, we're getting you the hell out of our country. MS-13, we're getting you the hell out. Tren de Aragua, we're going to get you out, or we're going to put you in Alcatraz. We'll call you Tren de Alcatraz, because we want to reopen Alcatraz. All my beautiful people, they said to me, sir, they said, senor, why do you want to reopen Alcatraz so badly? I said, mi hermano, I got to tell you, you look at it, it's called The Rock. It's named after me. It needs to start acting like it. We are going to rebuild it so beautifully and so strongly and so greatly. We will make Alcatraz great again. We will make America safe again. Thank you. God bless you. Happy Cinco Deporto, and the best is yet to come. Créeme.
All right, folks. Thank you to everybody who is laughing in the chat there. I see you all love the hat combination. Last year we did Sleepy Jose Caca en Frente del Papa, right? Sleepy Joe pooped in front of the Pope. This year, no poop jokes, but the sombrero came back. The poncho stayed in. The suit went on today, and the MAGA hat on top of the sombrero. I had people last year going, "Where did you get a MAGA sombrero?" I said, "I didn't. I got a regular sombrero and put a MAGA hat on top." So I'm sure that it looks like it's playing pretty well over there, especially over on X. How's that doing over on X? Those of you who are sharing it, we greatly appreciate it. Got it up on some other platforms too, and we'll have it. We'll have it in some other places as the day goes on. But happy Cinco Deporto to all of you. Yes, happy Cinco Deporto to everybody. We're at 60,000 views already, and we posted it half hour ago. So not bad. Not bad over on X. Shout out to the great Cat Turd who was among one of the first to share it. We greatly appreciate that. All right. Who wants to watch Donald Trump as a part of our Cinco Deporto fiesta, right? It's a Cinco Deporto fiesta. Ay, 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 la cucaracha, right? Taco and a burrito. There we go. All right. Let's go through Donald Trump making a fool out of Kristen Welker, shall we? Is that a great way to celebrate Cinco Deporto? Watching Donald Trump absolutely humiliate the fake news, right? El Nuzo Faco. Ready? Donald Trump, Kristen Welker. This is an excerpt about... Kristen Welker said, well, some people are panicking on Wall Street. Donald Trump didn't want to hear that question, and so he handled it the best way possible. Take a look.
Some people on Wall Street have expressed concerns that the possibility of a recession is increasing. And I want to know what you think about that. Are you comfortable with the country potentially dipping into a recession for a period of time if you are able to achieve your long-term goals?
Well, you say some people on Wall Street say, well, I tell you something else. Some people on Wall Street say that we're going to have the greatest economy in history. Why don't you talk about them? Because some people on Wall Street say this is the greatest thing.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at, though. It's the same question.
Yeah, there are many people on Wall Street say this is going to be the greatest windfall ever happen.
There you go. Donald Trump saying, well, hold on a second. You always say there's some people, and they always bring up the bad people, right? Some people did something. Yesterday was Star Wars Day. The Phantom Menace was on. Jar Jar Binks came on. That is Ilhan Omar. 100%. Andrew Wilkow, by the way, came up with that. Andrew Wilkow. You see Jeremy making the request in the chat. We need 2,000 thumbs up, folks. 2,000. Should be easy to get to. Yeah. Or else. Do it. I'm going to feed you to Letitia James. Okay? There she is. Tish. It's Sasquatch. Don't feed the Sasquatch. Brennan got me that as a new prop for my birthday. Where's the hat? The hat is behind me. Here's my Sasquatch hat as well. There you go. All right, folks. Donald Trump giving it right back to Kristen Welker. It didn't stop there. She's got to be combative when she interviews Donald Trump. She has to feel big and tough, right? Here we go. Here's another one. Donald Trump, I like the fact that he's calling it out this way. Basically, he's saying, you keep asking me questions with a negative angle. Why do you do that? Well, because they're the fake news. Watch.
Media is so fake, including, like even the way you ask questions. Every question is asked in a negative vein. There's a toy company that took a toddler's, whatever, but you don't talk about the fact that gasoline is down at numbers that nobody believes possible. You know why they're down, by the way? Drill, baby, drill. We're drilling like crazy right now.
We try to make sure every question is fair, Mr. President.
Look, every question you ask says a very negative slant.
No, but look, I'm just curious.
And I'm fine for responding to you. I don't think you're very difficult at all to respond to be honest with you. But you know what? You should ask some positive things like, sir, it's amazing what you've done with gasoline. Because you know what? Gasoline's big business. A stroller is not big business.
Yeah, he's right. You know what? They come out, someone was pointing out that, children's dolls are going to be more expensive because a lot of them come from China. And, Trump kind of said this. I think he said this with Welker. So basically, do you need 17 dolls? Like, why can't you just stick with 3? And people were like, oh, he's the Grinch, now you can't buy toys for your kids, blah, 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 blah. No. It's not what he's saying. But he is kind of saying stop spoiling your children. in that sort of way, right? But what's more important? No, let's ask honestly. Let's ask honestly, right? What is more important? The price of Barbie dolls and strollers being lower, or the price of gas being lower? I would say once the price of gas comes down, right? The price of a lot of things come down because it lowers the cost of energy, which inherently lowers the cost of doing business. Here's Trump essentially reinforcing that point right here, again, with Kristen Welker.
Prices are already going up on some popular items, tires, strollers.
This is such a dishonest interview already. Prices are down on groceries. Prices are down for oil. Prices are down for all energy. Prices are down at tremendous numbers for gasoline. And let me tell you, when you have the big thing, what he did, he spent like a stupid person, which he was, but he spent like a very stupid person, and that was bad for inflation. But what really killed us with inflation was the price of energy. It went up to $3.90, even $4, and in California, $5 and $6, right? Okay, I have it down to $1.98 in many states right now. When you go that much lower on energy, which is ahead of my prediction, because I really thought I could get it down into the 250s. We have it down at $1.98 in numerous places. But when you say costs are going up, even mortgage rates are going down.
Well, but let me give you some examples. These are actual examples. So you're saying the prices that are going down, some prices are going up, tires, strollers, some clothing in the wake of your tariffs.
Excuse me, that's peanuts compared to energy. Energy is 60% of the cost.
But sir, you campaigned on a promise to bring prices down on day
Well, I don't know. When you say strollers are going up, what kind of a thing? I'm saying that gasoline is going down. Gasoline is thousands of times more important than a stroller someplace.
But what do you say to Americans who say they voted for you because they want and they need relief right now?
And they're getting it.
Right now? What about those
even mortgage rates?
different items I just
Mortgage
mentioned?
rates are going down despite the fact that we have a stubborn Fed.
But you said even dolls could cost a couple bucks more.
Maybe they might, but you don't need to have, as I said, $35. You can have 2, 3, 4 and save a lot of money. We don't need to feed the beast.
I mean, that was one of the most telling exchanges in that interview, where Trump literally said, look, I'm bringing your energy costs down. When the energy costs come down, it helps lower the costs across the board because it makes it more affordable to do business. Keeping your lights on, energy, right? That electricity has to be produced somewhere. AOC thinks it comes out of the wall. She doesn't understand there's no electricity ferry inside the outlet, right? He's saying, look, yeah, the price of some stuff has gone up, but it is inconsequential stuff. I saw Krasenstein yesterday on X, or 2 days ago, bitching about, well, this dress is going to cost. So buy an American dress. I mean, it is unbelievable. She's like, well, you said you were going to bring prices down on day one. Strollers cost more. You lied. He's like, energy is much more important than, okay, when you bring down the price of energy, it impacts everything, right? If you bring down the price of a stroller, it doesn't impact anything except the price of the stroller. And she knows that. Kristen Welker knows that. But she's a jackass. That's why, she's fake news. Well, we want every question to be fair. That wasn't a fair question. What is more important, the cost of energy or the cost of a stroller or a doll? I get it. If you're a parent and you need to buy a stroller and the stroller's more expensive than you thought it would, that's an inconvenience. But at least the money that you're spending in gas to go get the stroller is less. At least across the board, now that the cost of energy has started to come down, the overall cost of doing business will start to come down, which means these businesses can start to relax how expensive some of their products are and have become because of energy costs. The price of a stroller does not impact the price of anything else. The price of energy impacts the price of everything else. But Kristen Welker wanted to try and play gotcha. Well, you said on day one you'd bring prices down. So let me scroll through. Dolls are more expensive. And are Americans really going to be put on the street out of their homes because, Barbie dolls are more expensive now? Or are Americans going to save money at the pump, save money on their electric bill, save money on heating and air conditioning, and all of those energy-related costs because the overall price of energy has come down? And Welker knows that, but she's a tool. She's a propagandist. All right, let's keep going. Here's another one, because they have to campaign and they have to run and they have to message on Donald Trump is, literally Hitler, right? Literally Hitler. He's an authoritarian. And Trump, again, was having none of it. Watch.
What do you say to those who believe you are taking the country down an authoritarian path?
Well, there you go again. Why don't you ask it a different way? Many people wanted to come into our country. Many people love Trump. I won the election. They didn't win the election. I got a lot more votes than they did. I won the popular vote. I won all 7 swing states by a lot. A lot of people were surprised. I said, I think he could win 4, maybe 5. No, I won all 7, and I won by a lot. And I won, actually, I think there was a lot of hanky-panky going on, but it was too big to rig. That's the good news. It's too big to rig. But let me just say, so when you make these statements about people say this, they had their chance at the election and they lost big. So you should ask the question differently. You should say, what about the people that want to be in this country? What about the people that love this country?
But what do you say? I'm asking it on behalf of those people to give you a chance to respond to them. What do you say to those people, sir?
Those people are going to be very happy. They're going to have to see some results. And I think we had a great 100 days. There are a lot of people that say it was unprecedented. It was an absolutely unprecedented 100 days. And I hope that they're going to be right.
It was an unprecedented 100 days. And Welker now trying to paint them as an authoritarian, when really the authoritarians are these clowns wearing robes and smacking their gavels all over the place. Now you can't arrest illegals without a warrant. F that. What are you talking about? So somebody illegally breaks and enters into your home, and now the cops need a warrant to take that person out of your home if they're illegally present there? Absolutely not. But to Trump's point, and people want to push these fake polls, and they're trying to pressure, Senate Republicans to be weaker, especially on Ed Martin. Please, if you're in North Carolina, please call Senator Tom Tillis's office today and demand that he confirms Ed Martin. Please, this is not a drill. I've only been saying this for the last month. Do you know what happens if Ed Martin doesn't get confirmed? Judge Blosberg, he's the one who wanted to bring back Kilmar Abrigo Garcia, and then he also wanted to turn the deportation planes around mid-flight. James Blosberg, Jeb Blosberg? If Ed Martin is not confirmed in 14 days, Ed Martin is no longer the interim U.S. attorney, and Jeb Boasberg gets to pick his replacement. This is not a freaking drill, and it has not been a drill for the last month. That's why I've been talking about it, okay? Please, if you're in North Carolina, if you're in Louisiana, please call Bill Cassidy. If you're in Utah, please call Senator Curtis. We've got to get Ed Martin confirmed. See, people don't understand. There is a mandate. There was a mandate. There still is a mandate. Donald Trump points out, rightfully, that he won the election. And by the way, he won the election, the popular vote, by 1.5 points. This was on CNN last week. If the election was held tomorrow, the same thing would happen. Watch.
Who would be doing a better job as president? Guess who comes out on top? Within the margin of error, but comes out on top. This looks a lot like the election result, right? Trump 45%, 2 points ahead of Harris at 43%. 12% say they'd be doing about the same. But this is the key nugget here. It's not just about regretting that vote. It's literally saying who would be doing the better job right now. And Trump continues to score a higher percentage of the vote than Kamala Harris. This looks a heck of a lot like the election result. We have just seen this in poll after poll after poll.
Donald Trump won the popular vote by 1.5 points, and now we're seeing the same thing. It's still a 1.5 point margin. And by the way, these polls, which are being skewed now to push a narrative, it's probably higher than that. It's probably higher than that. And one of the reasons why Donald Trump's first 100 days have been so successful, you can look at the executive orders, you can look at the men out of women's sports, you could look at tariffs, you could look at a lot of these different, directives and ideas and part of the Trump agenda that has been, historic, right? The pardons and a lot of these things, Dan Bongino in the FBI, Kash Patel in the FBI. A massive pedophile network, the 764, was just brought down, apparently, by the FBI as well. But Donald Trump, and I don't think it's controversial to say this, and obviously it's debatable, we can have a conversation, but Donald Trump, I think his biggest success the first 100 days, what would you say it is? The border. It's absolutely the border. It's such a success that even fake news NBC and Kristen Welker has to point it out. Look.
Border crossings are at their lowest level ever recorded. Is the border
Is that good?
Is the border now secure?
Yeah, it's really secure.
It's absolutely
isn't that good?
secure.
When you say that, doesn't that just sound good? After being abused for years by an incompetent president that allowed people to pour through an open border, criminals from all over the world, murderers and insane people from mental institutions and insane asylums. Isn't it a beautiful thing when you say it's the most secure it's ever been in the history of our country? Isn't that a nice statement?
Isn't that a beautiful statement? I'd say it's a beautiful statement. It is the most secure that it has ever been. And remember the lies that people like Kristen Welker and the Democrat Party and the 2024 campaign, right? The 2024 election campaign. Remember the lies that they started to spin out there, right? About the border. Well, we could have a secure border, but Republicans are blocking the bipartisan border bill. Remember that nonsense, that garbage? We could have a secure border, but Republicans are blocking it. Remember that? That was complete garbage, right? Total BS. Total BS. How do we know? Well, that border bill still hasn't been passed, and it won't be passed because it's a joke of a border bill. It wasn't actually a border bill. All we did over the last 100-plus days is enforce the laws that we already had on the books, and illegal immigration, even according to Kristen Welker and fake news NBC, is at its lowest level ever recorded. No new laws, just a new president. All we really needed was a new president. That is Donald Trump's biggest success over his first 100 days. That is what I and many of us voted for. All right, let's take a wow, right on the nose. We really timed that. We really timed out that that segment pretty well, huh? It's almost like we've been doing this for 2 years. Almost 3 years at this point. All right, quick break. Quick break. Let's talk about the LFA TV store, right? Let's talk about the LFA TV store, lfatv.us, lfatv.us. And then we will get to some of the Cinco Deporto results of the day in terms of illegal aliens who have been caught and the type of people that they're catching, right? Here we go. LFATV.us. This is the LFA TV store. LFATV.us. You see it right there on your screen. Click on that LFA TV store tab, right? And then you go over and you click on this where it says visit the store, because then you get the whole, nothing gets left out. So you got the mugs. We love the mugs. These shirts have been flying. The I Don't Really Care Margaret shirt with J.D. Vance and his chipmunk cheeks. By the way, speaking of J.D. Vance, this is important. Speaking of J.D. Vance, his half-brother is running for mayor of Cincinnati. If you are in, anybody here from Cincinnati, Ohio? Anybody here from Cincinnati? Tomorrow there is a primary. And if you are in Cincinnati and you can vote in the mayoral primary, we need you to vote for Corey Bowman. That is J.D. Vance's brother, and he is running in the primary for mayor of Cincinnati. So if you are in the Natty, please go ahead and vote for Corey Bowman tomorrow so that we can continue to flip these districts all across the country and position MAGA and position the America First agenda well, locally as well as federally. Take a look at the LFA TV store, as we mentioned before. I got a little sidetracked. You got keychains. You got Rise Up Coffee. You've got tank tops and beach towels and ball caps, all sorts of good stuff. LFATV.us. LFATV.us, Lima Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor .uniform Sierra. LFATV.us or jeremyherrell.com/store. All right. Shall we get to some of the actual news topics of the day? Because we went through some of the funnies, right? We went through some of the funnies. Now we will get to some of the important stories of the day, which are, it's par for the course. We're excited about news like this. Obviously not excited that things like this are taking place. What happened? Round a pony? No one is above the law. There it is. Love that. I love the rooster. They've come to snuff the rooster. All right. Here's a story out of Breitbart. 4 illegal aliens from Mexico have been charged in an international human smuggling conspiracy. These are once again the people the left wants to keep in our country. The group of men have been living illegally in the United States, and the United States Department of Justice's Office of Public Affairs said on Friday that they brought other illegals over the Canadian border into America after they were paid thousands of dollars. Our good friend Todd LeBlanc has called us a bunch of times here on this show and has mentioned that there was an issue on the northern border as well, especially up there in Elise Stefanik's district, the Swanton sector, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, right? These borders with Canada, that area, that section of the northern border has also been under attack. Look, not as much as the southern border. Weather's nicer. There are more countries down there. Up there, you just got Canada, right? But the northern border was also an issue. And these potential human smugglers were a part of this conspiracy up there. Edgar Sanchez Solis, 23 years old, unlawfully residing in Kansas City, Kansas, not Missouri. Ignacio Diaz Perez, 35 years old, unlawfully residing in Oakwood, Georgia. Georgia. Samuel Diaz Perez, 26 years old, unlawfully residing in Dublin, Ohio. And Salvador, here you go, Brennan, you'll like this one. Salvador Diaz, 32 years old, was unlawfully residing in Columbus, Ohio. They were charged by indictment with conspiracy to bring aliens into the United States and 25 counts of bringing aliens illegally into the United States for profit. These are the people that the left, the Democrat Party, the mainstream media, these are the people that the left wants to give due process. They want to keep them in our country as long as possible. Why? Because those people in particular are bringing in other people who are going to continue to do what? They're going to try and register them to vote, and they're going to vote Democrats so they don't have to leave the country. It's very simple. This has only been the plan for the last, 12 plus years with the unfettered mass open border agenda. The point of the matter is people don't want these people in our country. Period. Full stop. And today is Cinco Deporto. And people are going to go, it's not nice to mock Hispanic. I'm not mocking Hispanic people. First of all, it's Cinco de Mayo. What other language am I supposed to speak today? Number 2, it's funny. Number 3, if you're illegal, get out. That's it. Look, it's very simple. And I've said this a million times. If you're here illegally, you can't stay. I'm sorry. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Right? Closing time, right? You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Go into somebody else's country illegally, get out of mine. Get out of mine. All this talk about Kilmar, right? Kilmar Abrigo Garcia and a Maryland man and Father of the Year. And, he was mistakenly deported. He was not mistakenly deported. He was MS-13. Okay, the police said he was in a gang. The court said he was in a gang. The gang said he was in a gang. His knuckles said he was in a gang. His wife's ex-husband said he was in a gang. Other gang members said he was in a gang. The guy was in MS-13. Not a good guy. And MS-13, there are a bunch of people who are not good guys. You hear about this story in Virginia. 3 officers in a Virginia state prison were attacked in a coordinated MS-13 attack. Again, these are the people the left wants to keep in this country. 3 officers stabbed in coordinated MS-13 gang attack at a Virginia state prison. 3 officers at a Virginia State prison were stabbed on Friday morning in a premeditated attack involving several members of the MS-13 gang, according to the Virginia Department of Corrections. If this is what they're doing in prisons, imagine what they're doing on your streets. And folks, as I said, I grew up on Long Island. Brentwood, Long Island was a hotbed for this type of activity. And anytime you would see a story in the news about a dismembered body part being found somewhere, or people being cut up and shoved into suitcases, or people being, killed and then given the Colombian necktie, which is when they cut a hole in your neck after you're dead and they pull your tongue through it. That's a mark of MS-13. These are not people you want in your country. These are not people you want in your country. And if they're acting this way in prison, where there are usually instant consequences, imagine what they're doing in your community when they can do it concealed by darkness. In a statement released by the department, the assault occurred at 9:45 a.m. at Wallens Ridge State Prison. Of the 6 inmates involved, 5 of them are confirmed MS-13 gang members from El Salvador who are in the United States illegally. Each has been convicted of violent crimes, including aggravated murder, first and second degree murder, and rape. The 6th inmate is a confirmed member of the Sureño 13 gang from the United States and is serving time for second degree murder. So 5 out of 6 of these guys are MS-13 and are here illegally. I think those people should be removed from our prison and sent down to that massive El Salvadoran super prison. They shouldn't, first of all, we should not be paying to house them. That should be El Salvador's job because they're here illegally. Second of all, after putting our officers at risk, they don't deserve to stay in the United States. Go ahead. You think it's so bad here? Go down to CCOT down in El Salvador. That's super prison. They ain't going to like it down there. They ain't going to like it down there. These are the people that the left wants to keep in our country. MS-13. Sureño 13. Well, he can't be deported because he's a U.S. citizen. But 5 out of 6 of them, if they're from El Salvador, they're here illegally, they should be shipped back there tomorrow. All right, another illegal. And this ties 2 of my favorite topics together. Illegal aliens and, of course, New York with cashless bail. What do we say about laws, right? Laws only matter if they're enforced. What do we say about consequences, right? Consequences for breaking the law are supposed to serve as the deterrent to keep people from breaking the law, right? The whole idea is you don't want to break the law, not because it's not the right thing to do, but because you're afraid of getting caught and having to face the consequences. What is the deterrent that is supposed to stop people from speeding? It's a speeding ticket. It's points on your license, which results in an increase in your auto insurance. It's paying the fine, right? Nobody wants that to happen to them. So it makes people drive a little more responsibly. I'm not among those people, but that's a different story. And I know I'll get pulled over for speeding soon and have to pay the ticket. It is what it is. Why do people not just regularly rob banks? Well, because A, it's difficult. That's a deterrent in and of itself. But B, getting caught robbing a bank means you're going to go to jail for a long time. You're going to lose your freedoms. Is it worth it? The answer for many people is no. But if there are no consequences to breaking the law, if there are no punishments after you break the law, if you do what New York City does with cashless bail, where you go out there, you commit a crime, you rob somebody, you shoplift, you break windows, whatever it is, you get booked, and then you're released back on the street because cashless bail, we have to be nice, equity. Then what's going to happen is you're going to put these criminals back on the street to go commit more crimes. That is exactly what happened here in the case of Kristi Noem. Wouldn't you know it? The illegal alien accused in the Kristi Noem robbery was released after a similar crime in March in New York City. It's almost like, wow, we've said this is what happens with cashless bail. The illegal immigrant, according to the New York Post, accused of snatching Kristi Noem's Gucci purse, was free after committing a similar crime in New York City last month. Bustamante Livia's rap sheet also includes a 2021 shoplifting arrest in Utah and a headline-grabbing bust in 2015 across the pond in London, where he was arrested for a months-long theft spree and charged with palming $28,000 in phones, wallets, and computers, according to the New York Post. In March, he was accused of taking a fanny pack from a shop in Times Square and making $1,200 in credit card charges in approximately 20 minutes. Police eventually arrested him, and gave him a desk appearance ticket on fourth-degree felony larceny charges and cut him loose. However, wouldn't you know it, he didn't show up to his court date. Wouldn't you know it? A guy who is literally a professional thief, a serial thief, didn't show up to his court date to be held accountable for his thievery. Wow. Shocked. Totally shocked. I mean, if only a bunch of people in New York for the last 5 years said this was going to happen. If only you had a gubernatorial candidate running in 2022 who said on day one cashless bail would end so that stories like this don't keep happening. I mean, if only people like that existed, if only, right? What would we do? Maybe we'd vote accordingly? No, New York's getting ready to elect Andrew Cuomo as their next mayor, and he's the one who put cashless bail into effect. That ought to work out well. That ought to work out well. The second illegal immigrant accused in Kristi Noem's purse snatching was identified and released into the United States, despite being handed notice of expedited removal. Now, look, I joke all the time about Kristi Noem and the bag, and it's so expensive, and I think it's too much money to spend on a bag, but I mean, that doesn't give them the right to steal it. And you see that he commits a very similar crime in New York City. They write him a desk appearance ticket. No bail. Right back out into the street. Oh, wouldn't you know it? He didn't show up for court. I wouldn't show up for court either if I was him. So stupid. So stupid. All right. Donald Trump made heads explode yesterday, of course, on the left, when he decided he was going to trot this out. Donald Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz. Who thinks this would be a fun idea? Reopening Alcatraz. Welcome to the Rock. Right? Welcome to the Rock. We love this place. It's a beautiful place. It's off the coast of San Francisco. Yeah, it's in the Bay. Alcatraz prison. Small prison. But I think Donald Trump, after seeing that mega prison in El Salvador, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not taking a shot at him. I think he's a little jealous. I think he wants a brutal prison like that here. Now, CCOT's a much bigger facility than Alcatraz, albeit it's a lot newer. But Donald Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz. Now, it's falling apart. It's going to take a lot of money and a lot of time to get it back up to, up to standard. Donald Trump thinks outside the box. President has sent illegal criminals captured by ICE to El Salvador and the mega prison CCOT. He suggested that Greenland should become part of the United States and Canada also. So why not reopen Alcatraz, the island prison in the San Francisco Bay, and send our worst offenders there? Donald Trump saying this yesterday on Truth Social about his idea here to reopen Alcatraz. He said, rebuild and open Alcatraz. For too long, America has been plagued by vicious, violent, and repeat criminal offenders, the dregs of society. Remember Joe Biden called us that once? Who will never contribute anything other than misery and suffering. When we were a more serious nation in times past, we did not hesitate to lock up the most dangerous criminals and keep them far away from anybody they can harm. That is the way it's supposed to be. No longer will we tolerate these serial offenders who spread filth, bloodshed, and mayhem on our streets. That is why today I am directing the Bureau of Prisons, together with the Department of Justice and Homeland Security, to reopen a substantially enlarged and rebuilt Alcatraz to house America's most ruthless and violent offenders. We will no longer be held hostage to criminals, thugs, and judges that are afraid to do their job and allow us to remove criminals who came into our country illegally. Is he saying judges are going to go to Alcatraz? The reopening of Alcatraz will serve as a symbol of law, order, and justice. We will make America great again. So Donald Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz, and now I saw the left coming out there saying, wow, that's a waste of money. Oh, so that's a waste of money? But Sesame Street in Iraq was totally fine? Transgender operas in Guatemala, we're cool with that, but we can't invest in Alcatraz to help make our country safe? Walking lizards drunk on a treadmill. Like Nancy Pelosi, I had to way too much to drink, and now I can't even stand up straight. That's how I broke my hip in Rome. It hurts. We can walk lizards drunk. We can study male pattern baldness in space and send all the money that we want over there. We can give Ukraine blank checks, right? Blank checks to Ukraine, but we can't reopen Alcatraz. That's a waste of money. These people are ridiculous. These people are completely and totally ridiculous. I, for one, would love to see Alcatraz reopened as a symbol. I, for one, believe opening Alcatraz would be a cool thing. So let's reopen the Rock, right? Welcome to the Rock. They named it after me, right? It better start acting like it. It looks like a pebble. We're going to make it the Rock. We're going to make it the boulder. It's a beautiful rock. Anybody ever been to Alcatraz? Bernie, have you ever been to Alcatraz? No. I went there once. The family went out to California. It's cool. We almost missed the last boat back. So we almost spent the night at Alcatraz. It was wild. Really cold. It's a really cool place. I wonder if Gavin Newsom's going to chime in. This is going to hurt our tourism. We're going to send people there. I mean, you know. Look, I'd even bring back Kilmar Abrigo Garcia. I'll say, you know what? Let's bring back Kilmar Abrigo Garcia, but he has to stay in Alcatraz, and El Salvador has to pay for it. How's that sound? So Kilmar Abrigo Garcia is allowed back in the United States. I will concede that to the left. To the leftists out there, Kilmar Abrigo Garcia, he's welcome to come back into the United States, but he has to stay at Alcatraz, and El Salvador has to pay for it. We're not going to pay for it. How's that sound? I think that'd be fun. By the way, the movie The Rock, so Sean Connery's in that movie. He plays MI6, former MI6, British intelligence. There's no doubt in my mind that he is playing James Bond in that movie. It is a James Bond movie, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. All right, let's get to a word from our friends over at Armor Colostrum. It's tryarmor.com/LFA-TV. TRYARMRA.com/LFA-TV. Tryarmor.com/LFA-TV. Folks, you know I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity, my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. Well, this is Armor Colostrum, and this can do all that and more for you. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life. It contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. The problem is we stop getting colostrum after we're little babies, right? We're little tiny babies. We get all the colostrum in the world, and then it stops. We can't allow it to stop. So you can resume your colostrum intake. You can reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow. Help stimulate your stem cells and collagen production, which increases elasticity for plumper skin. Colostrum also guards against UV damage, chemicals and pollutants from the environment, and it helps clear blemishes for a glowy complexion. I have the greatest complexion. It'll help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, and it can help fuel your fitness performance and recovery. Go to tryarmra.com, TRYARMRA.com/LFA-TV. tryarmra.com/LFA-TV for 15% off of your first order. That's TRYARMRA, ARMRA.com/LFA-TV, tryarmra.com/LFA-TV. I see a lot of people in the chat. I'm going to give you a hint on how to make the Rumble numbers go up. It's very simple. You want to know how to do it? You want to know the easiest way to get the Rumbles to go up? Share. Take the show and share it incessantly with all of your friends. Bring them in, tell them to hit thumbs up, and they get to see Mo. They're going to be like, what? It's a Cinco Deporto fiesta, and I'm missing it, and I'm missing Mo? They're going to come in, they're going to hit the thumbs up. Clearly, there are folks who don't want to do it. So we got to find new folks who will do it. So share it around to all of your friends. All right. The left lost their minds over this Pope thing. Okay? They lost their mind. And some people on the right, too. They were like, this is blasphemous. Look, Correct me if I'm wrong. What blasphemous means to mock God, right? Okay. The Pope isn't God, right? As far as I know, he's a man, right? And no conclave of cardinals can just elect the Pope to be God. He's not a demigod. He's not a half God. Now, he represents what is it exactly is his position in the Catholic Church? He's like the head, the president of the Catholic Church, essentially, right? And he's like a representative on behalf of Christ or God, but like people decided that, right? That's not a divine thing. So when you post a meme dressed as the Pope and you're trolling and saying you should be the next, you're not mocking God. I don't think so. I don't think you're mocking God at all. He's literally just memeing himself as the Pope. And for those who say like the Pope is a representation of God, like Francis wasn't a very good representation then, right? Because he was like super woke and he was like pro-gay. This whole thing, didn't the Bible say that like being gay is an abomination? Yeah. So I don't think this Pope Francis was very representative of anything biblical. Just going to say. Now, the left, the right lost their minds over this, the woke right, who, they Christ for clicks, essentially, people, right? That's what they do. But the left lost it even more, which is hilarious. Kathy Hochul was like, as a Catholic, I'm offended. Really? You asked people to be your apostles when pushing the vaccine in 2022. Forget about that? Forget about that. Some other people on the left, oh, yeah, this is mocking Christianity. These are the same people who celebrated, remember the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, those blasphemous woke nuns that had a demonstration or whatever at the Los Angeles Dodgers game? Oh, the Catholics should be offended everywhere. The left is saying that. The same left that treated Catholics who speak Latin at Mass like domestic terrorists. So they don't have a leg to stand on with this Pope crap. It is crack. It's crackpot. Nonsense. They lost their mind over this. Oh, he wants to be a king. Here's what he wants to do. He wants to whip you up into a frenzy. He succeeded. You're talking about him, and he wins again. Trump wins again. Trump wins again. All right, I want to play this one. This is a funny clip from Ain't No Circle Back Girl, Ain't No Circle Back Girl. It's the Peppermint Patty. Jen Psaki. Listen to this. Listen to this garbage, right? About Joe Biden's cognitive decline.
I left in May of 2022, just for the facts here. And I have seen Biden once since then, when I took my daughter to the holiday party this last December after he had lost. And so I hadn't seen him in person during that period of time. I never saw that person, not a single time. And I was in the Oval Office every day that was on that debate stage. I'm not a doctor. Aging happens quite quickly. Were things that people saw during that period of time that were similar to that or would have been in a category of that? I don't know, possibly, right? And all these books are going to tell us.
Like, do you think that were they actively covering it up? Were they sort of in denial, or was that just a bad debate? Like, what is your read on that?
Well, this is what I mean about cover up is a very loaded term, I think.
Well, it means you knew that it was really bad and you're pretending otherwise versus you're deluding yourself, which I think is what people do a lot.
Well, I understand, but I still think it's like cover up is often like a crime, right? We're talking when people use that term.
They say it's worse than the crime.
People use that term as they relate to Watergate. Or the covering up of not sharing public information about a war.
Yeah, and I'm not accusing anybody of a crime.
I understand, but other people have used that term.
So Jen Psaki, did you hear the way she said, oh, aging happens quickly? Okay. So Jen Psaki was the press secretary. By the way, the hairy legs and all the gaffes during the 2020 campaign was before she assumed her role as press secretary. We all know she's full of sugar honey iced tea. But this woman wants you to believe that Joe Biden got dementia overnight. Seriously. She's like, I never saw that guy. Or I did. We all saw that guy. Come on. The rest of the world's not a patch in our jeans. Where's Jackie? This guy's asking, where's Jackie? She's dead. He's asking where she is on stage. I got hairy legs, turn blonde in the sun. What about my favorite clip? I no more think of myself as being as old as I am than fly. You mean to tell me that's a sound person? Jen Psaki wants you, and everybody, Jake Tapper, the mainstream media. Remember Joe Biden up until June 27th last year, up until that debate, Joe Biden was sharp as a tack. On June 28th, Joe Biden had dementia and a cognitive problem. It happened overnight. All right, we got 700. Let's hit Mo. Thank you. Cinco Deporto. We will not deport Mo. Mo is great. Mo is tremendous. We love Mo. And I want to play one more. Donald Trump finally addressing the 2028 stuff, which a lot of people lapped up like dogs on the right and the left, but mostly on the left. Oh, he's gonna take on the Constitution. As we said, as Caroline Levitt said last week as well, he was trolling. And it worked. Again. Watch.
The Trump organization is selling hats that say Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution? Or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. Mm-hmm. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. This is not something I'm looking to do, okay? So we can end that. It's fun to troll. I was never in support of, I support term limits everywhere, right? Congress, president, I support term limits. Even when the people that I like would benefit from not having term limits, I support term limits. So I always thought it was a troll, and it turns out that it was a troll. It's not something that he's looking to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. Boy, did this go by fast today. This went by real fast. Brennan and I are headed up to see our friends over at DT McCall soon, right? We're going to be going up there, and we're going to be picking out some furniture today. DT McCall's, the best furniture company in Middle Tennessee. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Jeremy Harrell is coming up next with Live from America for 2 straight hours to keep the celebration and the fiesta of Cinco Deporto. We love it. It's Cinco Deporto, Cinco Deporto, Cinco Deporto. We're getting you all the hell out of our country. MS-13, Tren de Aragua, Tren de Alcatraz, whatever it is. Have a great rest of your Monday. Have a great Cinco Deporto. I'm going to be on with Ed Henry later on Newsmax at 6:20 or so Eastern Time. That's, of course, p.m. Donald Trump with an announcement today, a sports announcement, I think at 1 o'clock, and then executive orders at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. The sports announcement is rumored to be that the NFL is hosting the draft in Washington, D.C. in 2027. I know everyone's like, lame. I know I want it to be that the Redskins are coming back. But everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening. We greatly appreciate it. As our president would say, we will never give up. We will never, ever get, what was it? We will never, what is it? We will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Monday. Enjoy Jeremy Harrell for the next 2 hours. Keep it locked right here on LFA TV, and we'll be back here tomorrow. In the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody. Bang gavel. We'll see you mañana.